All right, here we go.
Here we go. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Christy, Annalise, David, Christina,
What is
Cheryl.
good?
Awesome.
Did I
Jennifer,
admit some
Lainey.
people in here, Bernie?
What's that, Jamar?
Did I admit people too?
You can, yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Chris, got Shoko, Steve, welcome. Got multiple Steves in the room. Hi,
Welcome
Kathy.
in.
Hi, Sean. Dono. What's up, dude? Hi, Bruce. Mahela, welcome. All right, guys, we had over 100 people register for today, so we're going to give it a minute or two to get people in the room.
What's going on, everybody? What is good? All right, hold on. Catherine, you look good, girl. Shoot. Tell me your secret.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Tell me your secret.
Well, you know, I do have this project called the Sunshine Station.
The key. The key.
How are you?
Good, good, good. Blessed. Blessed.
Yep.
I woke up this morning, so I'm good.
Yep.
I am good. Let's see. Oh, what we got here. Guys, everybody say hello in the chat. We were pushing about 150 registered for this thing, so we're gonna let people come in here. Yo. Lainey said hello from Atlanta. ATL.
ATL in the house.
Every time I think of Atlanta, I just think of Usher doing the stomp from the music video.
Yep. That and Ludacris.
Yeah. Every time. What's going on?
Hey, Graham. Hey, Kim. Good to see you.
Put this over here. Welcome in, Cheryl, Graham.
Been a long time, Bernie.
It's been a minute, Graham. Good to see you, man.
You as well.
We've got a few more still rolling in.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Kate, keep an eye on the waiting room. Keep bringing them in as we go. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing kicked off here. And one of the first things that we'd like to do with you today is take a moment to think about what is the hardest part about being a speaker? What is it right now that seems hardest for you? What I'd like you to do is use this poll everywhere. Go ahead and maximize the code in a word or two. What seems hardest about being a speaker right now? What's giving you the biggest challenge? We're going to use some of this information as we go throughout the course of today. Let's talk about how we can become that six-figure speaker. Just give you just a moment to get some responses in there.
This thing's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Hardest part is practicing, preparing. Amazing mustache. Thank you very much.
How is that going to help you with speaking? I was playing.
Well, I'll tell you, it does help me get on stages. It does start the conversation a lot.
That's the key.
Right? Ooh, there we go. Now it's coming in, getting dynamic.
Let's go. Keep filling it. You don't have to do one word either. You can just keep putting different words in there.
Yeah.
As far as the hardest part.
Getting booked, getting paid, having energy.
Finding.
Yeah, finding is the big one in there. Finding and getting. Nice.
Outfit. Okay. Someone needs the wardrobe. Change. Topic. Okay. Nerves. Dope. Speak.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, what I
yeah.
love
I mean,
about these word clouds is that as it continues to grow, the words that are being repeated more and more get bigger, right? Those are the
yeah.
things that are on people's mind. So getting clients, getting booked, getting paid, finding gigs, being different. There's a lot here, a lot of details, a lot of smaller words too that you got to think about when trying to get on stage, right? So, guys, we brought together several speakers, including Jamar and myself. We've got a total of 6 that are going to get on the virtual stage with you in the next 90 minutes today. So, we do want today to be as interactive as possible, but we have a lot of information to share with you as well. Jamar, do you want to touch on the giveaway before we get too far down the
Oh,
rabbit hole
yeah.
here?
Oh, yeah. And since you're already sharing your screen, so I was going to share my screen and show the
I'll pull it down.
giveaway.
Yep, go.
Let me see here really quick. Let me just go ahead and share it. So everybody stay tuned, right? Don't leave anywhere because we are giving away something crazy. Okay. I don't know how many people put a me in the chat if you know who Mr. Beast is. Put a me in the chat. So I was inspired by Mr. Beast. Now I can't give away Lambos. Okay, I'm not at that point in my life yet. All right, for Lambos and islands and stuff. Even though that would be pretty dope for me to do. But I'm like, you know what? I think in the world full of taking, we need more giving. So we have a huge giveaway that is going to go to one lucky person on this call, but you have to be present to receive it. It's literally going to be roll of the draw. We literally have a wheel, and we're going to spin the wheel and see who wins it. But this is a $10,000 plus giveaway for being featured on our podcast that gets distributed out to Roku TV, radio stations, social media, and over a huge audience of 200,000 collectively through our distribution platform channels. And also you get a professional virtual event like this produced from Bernie's team, which is world-class, high level. So that way you can be able to once again speak, but also be able to get people interested into your topic or to produce leads for your business. Also a personal brand makeover kit. So we're going to be able to get a one-sheet brand positioning, give you some professional assets to be able to really grow your speaking business, and also a one-on-one coaching session with our team as well. So this is a huge giveaway that we're giving out. We've worked with so many speakers throughout the years, and they've been able to really grow their speaking from charging.
Oh, Jamar, I think we just lost your audio somehow. Jamar, can you hear me? Lost your audio.
Unmute.
There
Yo,
we go.
who muted me? Yo, some person muted me, bro. I have so many things up on my screen. Anyways, I was saying we work with a lot of speakers that anywhere where we got them from $2,000 charging all the way up to $30,000 per speaking gig. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, but you have to be present. So I want to just let you guys know that crazy giveaway is coming. So don't leave. Don't leave. It'll be It'll be basically rolled out at the end of the event.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you, Jamar. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to start out with a little bit of engagement, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring one of you into the hot seat. So Kate's going to drop a chat prompt, and what we'd like to know is what is your one obstacle that you'd like help with? Right, give us a little bit of context, and then Jamar and I are going to go through the chat really quickly and pull 2 people out. We're going to do a hot seat right now, another hot seat in the middle of our event today. So let's see what we've got.
Go ahead and raise your hand.
Yeah.
We're going to just pull somebody at random.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got some answers coming in here, Jamar. Anything jump out at you? You're confident. Finding the venue, narrowing down on a topic.
Sales. That's interesting. finding venues, connecting with the audience. Um,
Yeah.
Jason,
gigs.
booking gigs. Let's do that one because that seemed to be the consensus for
It came up big in the
yeah, the
word cloud
cloud
for
thing.
sure. All right, so we're going to spotlight myself, Jamar, and Jason. Jason, come off mute and tell us a little bit about your challenge in getting booked gigs.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And I'm actually transitioning into doing my own thing as a fractional chief learning officer, L&D advisor, and coach.
Man
And
after my own
so
heart and background. I love it.
there you go, man. I can't do the mustache. That's the thing. So
Gotta let it grow, brother.
uh,
This isn't about me and
yeah,
the mustache. It's about you. Let's go.
absolutely. So really one of my strategies to stand out is I'm building the frameworks that I've used throughout my career that have been successful in branding them, and so I'm in the position now of trying to find places to start developing these, and I love some of these people that have become thought leaders that are tied into different products like different learning management systems, this sort of thing. And really what I'm looking for is how to build those venues to do those things. Like this are great, but if you're just getting started and no one knows who you are, they're not going to pay to sign up for your pieces. So that's really kind of where I am, is how do you get out there so that you can build these gigs and you can make these connections?
Great question to start us off, Jamar.
Oh man. So if you're just starting, right? The biggest thing first is your brand positioning. So first we need to make sure that people recognize you as a thought leader. Like, why is Jason's voice and what he's saying, his message, why is that important and why should I care? Why should I listen to it? So we need to build a little bit of who we are, and what are the things that we've done, right, in our past. So a lot of times people just immediately go to the things that happened like last year or maybe the big milestone kind of things in their career. But one thing that I do with a lot of the people I work with is called a Wiki Famous audit. So it's basically like when you look up something on Wikipedia and then they have this like crazy bio for this person. Well, what if we created something like that for you? So if you look back at the totals of your life, right, even in from your professional career, everything that you've done, you start to say, okay, how many times have I been in front of people, right? Every time you're in front of somebody, that's a stage, right? So you start to total those up, and they don't have to be exact because no one's really going to press you on like, yo, you said 59, it was 58. No, no one's going to press you for that. But just having those totals, or how many podcasts have you been on? What are your top 3 biggest clients or companies that you've worked with or that you've helped support throughout your career? How many people have you impacted in your career? How many teams have you managed? You start to drill down into the totals of your life, and then that adds to your bio. And then now you know how to present yourself. And the reason why this is so important is because when you're presenting yourself in rooms and when you're networking. So I wrote a book called Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. And that's my philosophy, is that people need that ability to be able to change their circle again and again, especially to grow in a space. And so when you're introducing yourself to new people, you start to introduce yourself properly. Most people suck at introducing themselves. Like, they're bad. It's just like, this is what I do. Their occupation like owns their whole existence. And then they don't tell you any of the interesting things about them. So if you start to work on your bio and be able to look at the totals of your life and introduce yourself into the right spaces, then opportunities start to come to you, right? You can't off the gate just do something like this, but when you present yourself correctly, then people see you differently. And then they start to say, oh, Jason, why don't you come onto this panel and talk about that? That's a really interesting topic. Sounds like you have a lot of background in that. Or Jason, how about you come over here to this podcast and be able to be interviewed? Because that sounds like a super interesting story. I'd love to dive deeper into that. You start to get presented with opportunities. And then I always say yes to everything, right? In the beginning, just you got to get in front of people and you got to get better at your message and saying it over and over and over and over again. So that way, when your time does come to get onto a stage, especially for a paid engagement, you're ready.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll second that. I mean, you got to play the dive bars before you get to play Carnegie Hall. You know, like you have to. So you got to take as many opportunities as you can. And I would actually challenge you a little bit, Jason, to say that, you know, you may not feel like you have a big audience for virtual right now, but sometimes if you build it, they do come, right? If you have a compelling piece of information to share with people, if you do put your billboard out there, there are a lot of public spaces for people to see it. Right? You have Eventbrite and Meetup and LinkedIn and Facebook and all of these places. And then if you start diving into groups and the different audiences that are likely to be interested in the subject matter that you're presenting, it's actually not as hard as you think to bring together a group of people to have a conversation. And reality is, if you're looking for opportunities, having 5 people in a room or 100 people in a room doesn't really make that big of a difference. You're having a great conversation with people who are interested in talking about the thing that you want to talk about. And there's value in that for the long term of your speaking career.
Excellent. So one of the things, and I'm starting to try to build that using LinkedIn and building the audience and doing that. And I've actually just recently I was invited to a L&D podcast that I'm going to be doing next month.
Nice.
But one of the things that I wanted is I wanted a real differentiator before I just started getting out there, because otherwise you're just another talking head. And so that's why I'm really excited that I'm about ready to officially launch my a couple of my frameworks. So is that a good approach to have a product other than just being, oh yeah, you know, I have my 25 years of experience in leading, learning, and development. I think it's a little bit better to say yes, and here is my outcome performance framework.
Yes. So every speaker or everybody that has a message needs some type of framework or process that is like their own IP, right? Their own,
Right.
like, you get this information only from Jason. That's where you get it from. And it's great to have a name to it. That's a simplistic name that people can gravitate and be able to understand it right away. And something that is proprietary to your background. And also to add to that, to the framework, you also, to double down on, you need a X factor. So figuring out what is your X factor? What is that unique thing that people gravitate towards you for? You have to kind of dig pretty deep. I know a lot of people we work with, like, we go really, really deep into personal and professional, right? Stories that will help dig deeper to figure out, why do people engage with you? Why have you had any type of success in your career or even in your personal life? Where did that come from? And the X factor is so key. So I figured out for myself, it's like, I have like this energy, right? That people say, like, it's magnetic. I just feel like I want to do stuff after I talk to you. And so for the longest, I wasn't tapping into that within the marketing, the branding, who we were. It was really like, oh, the outcomes, the things I can give you. But when I started to hone in on that energy and that presence, and how do I articulate that to others, and how do I get people in that ecosystem to feel that for just a second, all of a sudden it just started to rapid fire just grow, because I tapped into the X factor. So it's just finding out, Jason, what is your X factor, and then also having that framework that is yours.
Excellent. Thank you. And I think the other the hurdle that I have is I'm really great at helping pump up other people and promote other people, and I'm really terrible at promoting myself. So
Like most people, man. Most people. I hear that all day, every day.
yeah, of course.
Well, Jason, thank you very much for being the first in the hot seat. I hope that was valuable
Absolutely.
for you.
It was. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So Jamar, I think it's time to bring Julie into the picture here.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jason. Everybody in the chat, really quick, just from that conversation, from that like hot seat style coaching that we just did, drop your takeaway just in the chat real quick. Drop your takeaway. hopefully that helped somebody here. And if it did, say me in the chat as well. All right. So first, we're going to bring up somebody that is super dope to me. So she's been killing the game. I've known her for years and seen her growth as a speaker, as a mentor to others, really helping leaders be able to effectively communicate, be able to grow cultures within organizations, and working with bigger and bigger organizations every single year. And she's a family woman as well. And she actively posts a lot of her life on IG. So if you want to follow her journey, it's pretty crazy. But we got Julie Menden. She is absolutely incredible speaker, expert that is really going to dive into and also helps a lot of beginning speakers really find their voice and their place and how to get them booked gigs. So I thought she'd be perfect to come up on stage and be able to enlighten us. So Julie, you have the floor, and welcome.
Thank you so much. What that intro, like how do you follow that intro? But actually just coming right off of what we were just talking about, that authenticity piece, one of the biggest ways that I have really grown is by being authentic to myself. And that's why I share my life on social media, on LinkedIn. So there's a poll real quick that just popped up around what's your biggest mindset barrier holding you back. So if you want to quick go ahead and answer that, because what we're going to start talking about to kick this session off is really how do you step in as a high performer? How do you have strong mindset going into growing as a speaker, becoming a speaker? So go ahead. I see those responses coming in here. The biggest mindset barrier holding you back from growing your visibility right now. All right, looks like we've got quite a few responses coming in here. Our options are imposter syndrome, self-doubt, fear of visibility, inconsistent confidence, unclear message, overthinking, perfectionism. All right, so we want to go ahead and share the results of the poll. All right, so it looks like, so you can all see that, but it looks like we've got close. We've got overthinking, perfectionism, imposter syndrome. So if any of you are experiencing any of that, you are not alone, obviously, as you can see here. So I'm going to go ahead quick and share my screen. All right. All right. Just get these things pulled up here. All right, we can see the slides. Good. All right. So as Jamar said, I am Julie Menden. I'm located in Wisconsin. For anyone else located in Wisconsin, I know I see some familiar faces. Real quick highlight about me, and then I'm going to jump right in because we have a quick time here. So as Jamar said, I'm a professional speaker. I do keynotes. I also do a lot of workshops and team facilitation. Jason, my background is also in learning and development, so we'll have to definitely connect. So I do a lot of team facilitation sessions. I've been speaking in my career for over 12 years and professionally as a paid speaker for the last 6 years. I'm also the founder and CEO of Savvy, which is a boutique leadership development firm where we work with organizations nationally and really help them to elevate leadership capabilities. I'm also an executive and high performance coach, and I work with a lot of speakers, a lot of leaders, really helping them to step into their leadership, overcome mindset issues, and really own and use their unique voice. And then as Jamar mentioned as well, I'm the founder of the Speaker Space Academy, where I help entrepreneurs really grow their business using speaking, and have a podcast called It Starts With You. So when Jamar and his team reached out and said, hey, do you want to join us for this session? You have about 10 minutes. I really started to think about what are the main things that I want to share with you that will inspire you, but also is going to give you tangible things that you can start doing right now to grow in your speaking career, or whether you're getting started or you've been doing this for a while. So I actually wanted to give you a little bit of a taste for what I do in one of my main keynotes, which is on mindset and resilience. And so I'm going to take you right now to 2019. Okay, so we're back in 2019. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm getting ready to walk over something that looks just like this picture here, which is a bed of hot coals. And I'm saying to myself, Julie, you're smart. You do know what happens when you touch fire, right? But you see, I had just spent this entire day at this personal self-development conference that was all about overcoming self-doubt, rewiring your brain for success, getting over limiting beliefs, right? And at the end of that first day, they do something called the fire walk, where you walk over a bed of hot coals. So some of you might have heard of this event before. Drop it in the chat if you've heard of the Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within event. And I actually start off one of my keynotes with this story because this was the catalyst for me really pivoting my career, starting my business, getting into speaking, because it showed me what we are capable of when we rewire our brains and we overcome those limiting beliefs that we've all put on ourselves. And so I got certified in coaching and trained in neuroscience and positive psychology. And I love working with speakers because we are all driven by this deeper motivation to change people's lives. Like all of you on here have this deeper drive that we want to have this impact. We use our stories, our experiences, our skills to better people's lives. And I just think that is the coolest thing. And you all have such a unique story. But here's the thing I'm going to challenge you to think about is we have to be able to hold all of our own stuff, all of your own life things that are going on while holding the energy of a large audience, whether it's virtual or in person. And that takes a lot of work in our habits and our mindset. You have to start to train like an athlete. Those of you who have been doing speaking for a while, you know that you need to train like an athlete because you need to be able to perform no matter what's happening. So those of you who are also trained in coaching or are big in personal development have probably heard this idea, but the more you hear it, the better, is that your thoughts create your feelings, which creates your actions, which creates your results. Meaning what you think about yourself and what you're capable of creates the feelings that you have about yourself. Some people think feeling goes first, but either way, the thoughts and the feelings is going to contribute to the actions that you take or don't take, which is going to get you the results in your business. And this is so key because if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm never going to be on a stage like that. I could never do what Jamar does. I couldn't do that. Well, then guess what, my friend, you probably won't. And your brain is the thing that has to go first, just like when professional athletes train. I used to tell myself that I was afraid of heights. I was so afraid of heights that as an adult, I went to this indoor amusement park where they have a ropes course, and I did it with my siblings. I got across the first obstacle. I cried, and I had to come back down as I watched all of these kids pass me by because I had told myself that I was afraid of heights, and I started to challenge that. So I started doing hiking in Sedona. If anyone's ever done hiking in Sedona, you might recognize some of these hikes. And I started to put myself in situations where I was doing hikes, really scary hikes, really tall hikes, because sometimes we can't see the version of ourselves until we get a new perspective. And so one thing I want to have you do really quick, whether you have a piece of paper next to you or your phone or something like that, one of the things I love to do when I'm speaking to groups or when I'm coaching is to help you to think of your why and anchor into the vision of where you want to go. What does success look like for you? Because it's different. What your version of being a successful speaker is different than Jamar's, which is different from all of us, right? Because you might want to be the big opener on the big stages, traveling all over the world. Or some of you might want to be doing more like small, intimate retreats or workshops. There's no one right way. There's just the way that's right for you and in the season of life that you're in. So on the days when you're getting more no's than yeses, because that's going to happen, you can anchor back into this vision of where you're going, right? So on the days when you see someone else book the stage that you wanted, and on the days when you get booked for your speaker fee, that you can maintain this vision of why you're doing this. So we don't have a ton of time. So I'm going to give you like 1 minute here, whatever you have in front of you, piece of paper, in your head, in your phone. I want you to think about 5 years from now, I am. And I want you to really visualize, where are you speaking? What's your speaker fee? What does your career look like? Who's in your network? Just free write. Don't edit yourself. Write it down. Where are you speaking? What kind of stages are you on? What's your income? Who are you surrounded with? Where do you live? Go ahead and just jot down whatever comes up for you. All right, like 15 more seconds. Just jot it down as fast as it comes. My speaker fee is this. I'm living here. I'm on stage with this person. Now, I'd love to give you more time, but for the sake of our time, I want you to come back and revisit this exercise and finish it up and put it somewhere that you can reference it, because this is the reminder for yourself of who you are becoming, of who you need to step into in order to sustain the success as a speaker. And I'll often share this with people as well. I love Tony Robbins. I went to his events, but we don't need another Tony Robbins. We need a you. And this is exactly what we were just talking about at the start, is we don't need another Tony Robbins, another Mel Robbins, a Brene Brown, whoever it is you look up to. Of course, we can look to them because success leaves clues. However, people get really hung up on trying to show up like someone else. And then we have such a watered down message. Just like what Jamar was saying, you need to find your differentiator. What is your unique positioning? Because you're going to lose your confidence if you're trying to show up like somebody else. And in a space that's getting saturated, you need to be able to stand out and use your voice, your experiences. And you are the only one that can deliver your message in the way that only you can deliver it. I want you to remember that your potential lives in progress, not in perfection. Right? It means it's small habits. The speakers who are winning in this space, they take action day after day after day. The ones who are really thriving, they have locked in their habits. They're reaching out, they're networking, they're applying, they're getting spin-off business. Speaking is a machine in your business, but you need to be the one that's turning that gear. And so what you need to do is, and as a recovering perfectionist, I would get stuck in indecision. If anyone else is a perfectionist, I would get stuck in indecision. Should I reach out? What should I charge? Should I apply for that? Can I? Am I? All of these things. And you need to stop waiting for perfect, because those who are on those stages getting those fees that you want, they just reached out. They did it. They fumbled their way through. And that's really the only way. And the last thing that I really want to leave with you is this whole idea that one of my mentors had shared this with me, and now it's stuck with me forever, and I share it with others as well, is this idea of this or something greater. Because as you're reaching out, as you're pitching, as you're getting into this space, I'm going to challenge you to detach from the outcome. And that can be really hard because you're like, oh, I just want that event so bad. But here's the thing. If you hold so hard to that event, you get tunnel vision. So every time you reach out, every time that you apply for something, put it as like you're casting your vote out into the universe. You are telling the universe, I am ready for these opportunities to come to me. And even if it's not this one specific opportunity, there's going to be others, and you are going to be more open to see those opportunities. Because again, I'll just remind you that people are waiting to hear what you have to say in only the way that you can deliver it. So hopefully this was helpful for you as a little motivational kickstart as we get going. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. So please connect. As Jamar said, if you want to see some behind the scenes, like this morning, I posted a get ready with me. As you could see, I had no makeup on. I had under eye gels on. I was working out. I was doing the thing. And then I also have a podcast. It starts with you. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody connect with Julie. Definitely scan that QR code. Thank you so much, Julie. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. And I know a lot of people talk about mindset. And I know no one really wants to hear mindset, but it's so funny that like it definitely starts with how you're thinking about something is how you're actually going to take action on something. So it's so needed, especially in a space where everybody is comparing themselves to other people. So thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate you. Everybody connect with her. She's awesome. Please follow her journey. And trust me, you're going to learn a lot by even just following the journey. Okay. So next up, we have Kristen. Okay. Everybody ready? Hey, everybody put some flames in the chat. I need to see some flames, man. Let's just put some flames. Julie killed it. We're going to keep it rocking. Keep it rocking. Okay. So Kristen has worked with hundreds and hundreds of speakers, and really understanding the speaker's brand and how to get somebody from unpaid to charging over $10,000 as a speaker. And she's worked with a lot of really big names, a lot of definitely great speakers that are killing the game right now. And that's why I was like, yeah, Kristen's got to be in the room because I know everybody can learn an absolute ton from her, especially when it comes down to charging, your brand, your presence. What things do I need to actually get me to that next level? And none other I thought of is Kristen. So welcome, Kristen, and you
Hello.
have the floor.
Hi, thank you. All right. So, super pumped to be here. I'm actually coming to you guys from a hotel because I've got a speaking gig yesterday and today over in Virginia. So, I'm originally from Wisconsin. So, make sure you guys are filling out the poll because this is going to be really helpful with finding out what we need to really touch on today. Um, Let's see. So which speaker website issues? So that's my company is Crash Design Co. and we do speaker websites. And so would love to know what you are most likely, like what's most likely costing you opportunities. I work with a lot of speakers that'll come to me and they'll just say, I'm just not getting the yeses. Like I'm applying for things and I'm putting like all of my best stuff out there, but I just feel like I'm still not getting a yes. And so I really want to know what you think is costing you those specific opportunities because I want to make this as helpful as possible for this amazing group that we have in the room. So we have quite a few people that don't have your speaker website yet. I'm going to equip you with a ton of tips about that today. Don't worry about that. And let's see, the other strong things we hear are no strong proof, so testimonials, clips, logos, no clear next step. That's a really big one that's really not spoken about quite often. I love it. Okay. So it sounds like we've got a lot of people that don't even have a speaking website yet. And that I'm excited for you because there are a lot of people that are moving into speaking from a different career. A lot of people that I do workshops for are saying like, I'm a coach, but should I have a speaking page or a full new website or I own a different business? And so those are things that I'm always talking about with people that will come into workshops and learn from me about how to get unstuck and in demand. And so we are going to talk about positioning yourself today for bigger stages and bigger fees. And like Jamar said, I do specialize in working with speakers to get them over that 10K fee range. So if you are charging under 10K, we are going to stop that today. All right. So I think the results are getting shared with you guys. I'm going to switch over to share my screen because the fun thing about what I do is I get to have a lot of graphics and stuff because I want you guys to see exactly what I do, what I'm about to talk about, and what it looks like. And again, working from one monitor and not my normal three is a struggle today. So we are going to talk about positioning yourself, like I said, and let's get everything working. All right. So because I know that there are people in the Zoom right now that are undercharging, and then they go to a gig and they over deliver, and then they come home and they are still getting overlooked. And to me, it is not a talent problem. I've worked with hundreds of speakers, and it truly is, it's not. I've learned that it is a positioning problem. And you're going to hear a lot about that today. We've already even mentioned it twice already. So, what I'm going to focus on is more about your marketing, more about your website, your online presence of some way, and the positioning that goes into that. Because when it comes to getting booked as a speaker, it simply can come down to that the clearest speaker wins. And when it comes to that and my world that I'm bringing to you guys is that copy and design work together. And so you could have the most beautiful website ever created, but if the words aren't selling you, then it doesn't matter. And on the other side, if your website looks like just a resume or maybe just your LinkedIn profile, then it's not going to help people read all the way through it. So that's why we want to work with both of those today and keep both of those in mind when it comes to your website. And why I'm the one that should be here talking to you about it is because after I graduated college for 8 years, I was hiring speakers. I was the one in the room picking out speakers for our conferences and would bring people in. But then also I had to say no to people because of their websites or their online presence in some way. And I found that that was just a problem that I could help solve. So 5 years ago, I quit my job. I started Crash Design Co. And now, like I said, I've been working with people and getting them over that 10K range. I've had clients go from 100K year to 500K 18 months after launching. So it is all about what I'm teaching you guys today is everything that I implemented in those situations. And then furthermore, I get to speak now. Like I said, I'm at an engagement right now. And so I truly have seen 360 degrees of this industry because I just absolutely adore it because I believe that speakers can change lives. I believe we have so much impact that we can give. And my biggest fear is that the people that can change the world the most are simply just not marketed enough. And I think we all have those household names that we know of speakers. And I honestly think there's probably someone in this Zoom that could be better and could make more of an impact. We just need to get you out there and get you known. So I'm going to give you my top 5 things that a website absolutely needs. I do have generally a list of 10, but I don't think you guys want me to talk any faster than I already do. So the first thing is we're jumping right in is clear positioning. That's crazy. You've already heard this word like probably 15 times in the first half hour of our call today, but clear positioning in the first 5 seconds is so important because as humans, we judge everybody the moment we see them. We can't turn that thing off in our brain. We do it, whether it's a positive, a negative, or a neutral, thought. It's just something we do. And we also do that on a website. So we want to make sure it's super clear who we're speaking to. We can't speak to every stage. I wouldn't be good for a stage that Bernie might be on or that Stevie might be on, but I'd be really good for my stages. And so we need to be really clear about those things. And then we've talked about what problem you solve. This is honestly the biggest cheat code you ever could have is as long as you talk about that one specific problem that you are so perfectly equipped to solve and just keep solving it for people, I think you're going to find so much success in your speaking business. And then finally, why it matters, right? When it comes to why it matters, we can solve a problem, but really what we're all looking for is the outcome. So if we can clearly spell out the outcome that people are actually wanting, then it's just going to hit so much better. And a big tip when it comes to hiring speakers is, and I want you to keep this in mind the entire way, is mitigating the risk. So when we're hiring speakers, I remember I would always have a list of like 15 for a conference. And it was the one that made me feel the most safe in hiring them that always got hired. So we want to mitigate the risk and we want to do that through clear positioning throughout all of our online presence. And again, top website priority is what problem you solve. And for me, like we've already said, it's called that X factor, right? This is where the positioning part comes in. I call it your positioning edge. This is the what makes you so unique to solve that problem or to be brought in to a group. I think when we all start like our businesses, we always get the advice of you need to have that I help statement. Like I help so-and-so do this so they can this. But I think that is an incomplete sentence. I think that 4th section needs to be, and I'm uniquely qualified to do it because. And if you insert your positioning edge, that is the thing that's going to really help somebody want to hire you. And another side note, a lot of beginner speakers, a big issue that I see is that they'll write their website and put it out there, but it's all directed to the person that's sitting in the seat when they're speaking. And that is actually kind of just, it's actually going to be a hindrance to you and your website's effectiveness because they're not looking at your website to bring you in. They are signing up for a conference and finding out who the speaker is, maybe before or after. But what we really want to talk to is the reader. And for you guys as speakers, that's going to be that event planner. So how can we solve their problems in our speaking and on our website so that they want to bring you in? So I like to address the meeting planner. And really that all comes down to, instead of saying, you are going to learn this thing, we can say your members, your employees, your team, whatever it is, and then group is going to learn these things. And it's just a simple switch, but man, is it important to have an event planner start picturing, okay, they're going to be a partner with me when it comes to this. And so that is a little trick that you can use on your website. And this is something that I switched for one of my clients, and he literally doubled his speaking fee that week because he said he was so confident in his new website, and he got booked that week because he was sending out an RFP. So that's just like the power of just little switches like that and having a good hero section because his hero section I remember was just like his name really big. And my love letter to speakers is I'm so sorry, but your name doesn't matter just yet. Just yet, it does not matter. It doesn't need to be the biggest, most important thing we put on a website. It's really about that problem that we're solving. Okay, number 2 is each speech includes the 3 non-negotiables. When it comes to saying that we are a speaker and you have a keynote, we absolutely need to make sure it is extremely clear what your topic is, what the description of that speech is, like what are people getting themselves into, and then also the takeaways. So what is the audience going to leave learning or knowing or having at the top of their mind? That is what we want to make sure we are spelling out so that the meeting planner doesn't read just a description and assume those things. We want to make sure that like we're promising this. So let's make sure we have all of those 3 things for our keynote speeches. And then third is proof. This is my favorite one when it comes to a website because I think a lot of us want to be humble sometimes and Midwest nice around where I am at and you don't want to talk about yourself, but we need to because we need to be able to show somebody that you can trust us, right? That goes back to the risk thing. So transformational testimonials are a big one and also an easy way to start doing this on your website is to put logos of audiences that have trusted you to speak in front of them. You don't have to have as many as the example on the screen right here. You might start with 5, start with 6, and it all just grows. When I started my own website, it had only a couple, but now it's like a scrolling thing and it just keeps going and you have to sit there for like 5 minutes, but that doesn't happen just overnight. It happens because the first 5 were there. So make sure you are adding your audience logos because this is going to show also budget authority. And I talk about the 10K speaker a lot. If you have organizations that people recognize, they're going to start thinking that the number goes up. I had a client send me a DM and he said that he didn't get accepted for a speaking gig because of his website. And I was like, wait, what? What happened? And he's like, they thought I was more expensive than I actually was. So he was like, he was saying it as a thank you because it gave him so much confidence to now raise his fee. But also he could go back to that audience and say, for you, I will do it for that fee that will work in your budget, which was his original fee. And then, and then he had to raise his rates after that. I forced him. So he is now a 10K speaker after launching in November of last year. A really important thing. So I'm a part of the National Speakers Association. If you guys are similar or you are, you know what that group is. And a big thing that's talked about there is videos. And that's what everyone wants to know about these days for websites is what the videos should show on your website. And meeting planners are now saying more and more often they want less of the long sizzle reels with like music and lights and bouncing around and a different announcer. And then maybe a minute and a half in, you actually see someone on stage or you actually get to hear them speak. People want to be dropped in more. And I'm not saying that we don't need to make this like a nice looking video that's produced really well. But if you're going to have a keynote speech and you do have good video footage of you delivering that speech, you can say like preview this talk. And that is what event planners are watching more than your sizzle reel right now. They might go back and watch your sizzle reel or share your sizzle reel with the other decision makers, but this is the thing that's going to make them feel really safe. Okay. And then finally, the last one I'm going to touch on today is professional headshots and stage photos. You can see the 2 photos right here. This is from the same event. This is me from the exact same event. The one on the right shows way more trust than the one on the left, because then the one on the left could be, I could have snuck into some conference and took that picture. There's not a single human being other than me in that photo. But from the back of the room, you can see there were more people there and we were doing an actual workshop and all of that stuff. So if you can start planning something now. If you don't have professional headshots, highly, highly, highly recommend getting that. It is just one of those things that shows that you are packaging yourself as the position that you are looking for, right? And so if we are just using selfies or, grainier iPhone footage for your videos, again, that's a good place to start. It's better than nothing, but having professional footage and photos it's just something that is just going to elevate your look so much. All right. And then you can take a picture of the screen if you want. You also can find it on my website. But if you are going to go get new headshots or new photography, highly recommend just giving this to your photographer and say, let's copy this. And just do them all. I have had speakers do that. And it's so much more helpful as a website designer because I can really position you well when you have these kind of photos. All right. A little bonus for you. I told you about how I used to be an event planner. If you make it easy to work with you, you're going to get those repeat referrals and you are going to be, talked about long after you leave. I remember a speaker that I hired, he made my life so easy because he had a meeting planner page. And with this meeting planner page, it was something like you're seeing right here, just his headshots, his intros, whatever. Because I was absolutely that person working at 9 p.m. trying to put together the program because it had to go to print the next day. And if I didn't have a bio for marketing, I'd have to make it up. But I had speakers send me this meeting planner page and we hired them again. It was just always because they made our lives easy. There's so much that goes into event planning. So if you can make that person happy, you're killing it. All right. So I hope this was helpful. I know I had to go through things really quick. I could talk about speaker websites all day and speaker marketing and online presence, but truly I just want to remind you to focus in on that problem that you solve. Think about how you want to be positioned and make sure you have your positioning edge and share that with the world as much as possible. The QR code on the screen is to add me on Instagram, but if you want to add me on LinkedIn, I'm Kristen Adkins, and if you send me a DM anywhere, I can actually send you a checklist that has all of this, plus the other 5 if you want to really get over that 10K speaker fee range. I will send that over to you. So thank you so much, and I'll hand it back over to Jamar.
Thank you, Kristen. Appreciate you. All right, everybody, give some claps, some round of applause.
Give some love to Kristen. That was good stuff.
For Kristen, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So we're going to have a quick hot seat right now. Hold on, I'm looking at the agenda. Where did I put it? Quick hot seat. We're gonna bring somebody up to just answer one question here. And also, I'm just going to take the time as we're bringing this person up doing the hot seat. Everybody drop their LinkedIn to connect. Everybody drop their LinkedIn in the chat to connect. And so we're going to do a frenzy of changing our circle today. Okay. So Bernie, who are we bringing up, man?
So while we had the other speakers on, I went through some of the chats and I looked through for a great topic that could be beneficial to everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about selling on stage. Megan Kuiper, hopefully I said that right. Megan, let's bring you on camera and have you tell us a little bit about your challenge of selling from stage.
Okay. Hello, everyone. And thank you. This is awesome. I love all the presentations so far. But my name is Megan Kuiper, and I speak on leading through human connection. And my superpower is my big energy and my leadership expertise after 21 and a half years in the corporate space as a director and being vulnerable too. So, okay, I have been dreaming and working on speaking every week of the year. And this year it's happening, which is so exciting. But now I feel like, okay, what's next? And Jamar has heard me talk about this more recently, but oftentimes, whether it's a small workshop or bigger stage, there is that chunk of people waiting to talk to me afterwards. And I really want to work on converting the emotion and the connection that I've evoked in them to working with them as their coach or being booked on another stage. And I'm really right now I'm brainstorming and thinking about how I can better integrate some more testimonials and storytelling while I'm on stage so that when I work on pitching an offer at the end, it's like a no-brainer and people are just purchasing in the room or booking me and so forth.
Dope. Bernie, you want to take this one?
Oh man, I don't know that I'm the expert of selling from stage, to be honest with you, Jamar.
All right.
Huh.
I can take it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so the best way to tell a story or to actually have that stuff molded into your presentation is to have the storytelling be like you're literally sitting with somebody like at the bar. So you want that stuff integrated, not in a way where it's like, all right, now I'm going to give you a story and I'm going to talk about this. It needs to be in a way where it's very conversational and I know your talks in particular are conversational, so
Mhm.
it should be pretty easy, but integrating that in a way where it's like the story is supporting your positioning and the positioning is going to support the offer. So that's really how the formula for it. So once again, the storytelling supports is supported by the positioning is going to support the offer. And as long as you can mold that in as you're telling the story and having your positioning of who you are and why you're the right person for the job, that should make the offer that much clearer, more concise. And it's also about getting participation. So I actually learned this from Russell Brunson, where ClickFunnels guy. So basically, if you can get them to give you an action, so get them to say I, or get them to say me, get them to participate in the story, right? Every time they nod their head, they're signaling that yes, I agree with you and I'm in, right? And psychologically, the brain starts to process that. So by the time the offer comes up, you've already in the back of your mind, your subconscious have already said yes. So you want to integrate also with it, which I know this perfect formula is tough to nail down, but once you get it, it works wonders. But getting them to just commit and say yes, so you don't wait to the end for them to be
Mhm.
like, do you want this or not? They've kind of already said yes before the offer is even presented. Actually, Alex Hormozy just did this in his last book launch really, really well on live. And people were kind of saying yes all the way to the end until he dropped the really big nuke of his huge offer. And he was just getting people to buy it like hotcakes.
I love that. I feel like even in your presentation that I got to see at the SBOC, did you do something like say energy if you're feeling energy? Or
Yeah,
I
I
feel like
said
you
locked
did.
in. So,
Okay,
like
locked in.
if
Yeah.
you're locked in, say lock in, and
Yeah.
then I just kind of had sprinkled throughout. So I'm getting them to give me,
Mm.
and actually, I kind of stole that method from another great speaker that I know. They don't say locked in, they say something else.
Sure,
So I
sure.
was like, I saw that in person. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's just locked, like they were literally locked in
Yeah.
the entire presentation. And I'm like, oh, I need to sprinkle that in just to
Mhm.
wake them up, just to wake them up and just be like, yo, we're cruising. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? So by the
Yeah,
time like you're at the end, you've got so much energy already there.
sure.
Awesome. Thanks for starting that up for us, Megan. We're going to move along to our next
Sweet, thank you.
segment here. What is happening? I am hearing all kinds of weird noises on my end here. Hang on one second, guys. There we go. Not hearing it. Okay, good. All right, guys. So I am the next segment.
Welcome.
My first question to you guys: is virtual a stage? Are we on stage right now? You see some heads nodding. And honestly, it's kind of a rhetorical question because every time you're in front of a group or even just one other person, you're on stage, right? You're guesting on podcasts, that's a stage. Networking meetings, that's a stage. One-on-one virtual coffees with people, stage, right? And your audience is going to decide within just a few seconds how credible you are, right? We've already kind of heard that a bit, right? Talking about presence. That's the truth. Things as simple as how you angle your camera, as simple as how your microphone is set up, your lighting, right? Your background. All of those things are communicating for you before you even open your mouth, right? So if your camera is looking down on you or up on you, right? Looking up your nose, that lighting is behind you instead of in front of you. Your background looks accidental. You don't look like a professional speaker. You look like you just showed up, right? So, a simple rule that I like to follow is just keep your camera at or slightly above eye level, not super high, right? You want to be able to look at it dead on. You want to make sure that your face is lit. If you're going to be on camera, make sure people can see you. And make sure that you have a clean and very intentional frame, right? It may look a little cluttered in my background. I'm pretty small right now, but this was all very intentional, how I want people to see me. But guys, whether you like it or not, you either look like a $10,000 speaker or you don't. And how you show up really matters. And where most people, speakers, tend to lose a virtual room is they think that what works on a live stage doesn't works here in the virtual. It does not. Okay. It's not always a one-to-one correlation. You have to think through the tools and the elements in virtual versus in person. You know, oftentimes in person, your presence, your charisma can carry you through. But online, virtually, your presence gets filtered through the camera, through the screen, through the microphone, and through the audience's speakers. Right? So you do have to be more intentional when you're working in the virtual space. You want to make more eye contact, right? And you do that by looking specifically at the camera, not at the screen or the different video tiles. Right? You want to make sure that you have that vocal variation, change your tone, your inflections throughout the course of your event. Make sure that you're really aware of your pacing. And here's one rule that I give to all of my speakers that I work with. Your virtual stage energy or that presence should be about 1.5 times your in-person delivery energy. You want to come almost over the top. And yes, Annalise, I am a huge Iron Man fan. If he could be my spirit animal, he would be. But guys, if you don't come over the top like that, right? If you don't adjust to the new medium, you don't come across as calm, as cool and collected. You come across as low energy and potentially boring, right? You remember Ben Stein, the teacher from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Yeah, don't be him. So this next one is kind of a big one. Most speakers will hope for engagement. They'll try to deliver everything they can as well as they can, but then they hope for that engagement throughout the course of their event. The pros, they design it. Again, they are intentional about it. They think it through every step of the way. Every 3 to 5 minutes, and frankly, no more than 10, something should happen in your virtual event, whether that's a chat prompt, a quick reaction, a poll with some purpose, a video, right? Maybe change a speaker, have a breakout room. Not just, are there any questions? That's not engagement. You want to be direct, be specific, be intentional about your interactions. And guys, it doesn't have to be earth-shattering. Again, just intentional. I mean, Jamar mentioned it earlier, right? If you're locked in, drop locked in the chat. If you agree with what I just said, drop a 1. Type yes if this is hitting for you. Right? Because here's what's really happening with those little micro engagements. If people are typing in the chat, they're paying attention. And if they're paying attention, they're engaging with you and they're going to stick around. They're going to be more open to a conversation later after you're done on camera or on stage. Right? And engagement isn't just about that participation. It is literally psychological buy-in to what you're communicating. I'm going to have Kate drop in a virtual top 10 checklist for you guys into the chat. Download it. You can review it later. But these are the things that you really want to pay attention for when you're going to be speaking virtually. It's not just turn on the camera and talk. One other thing that a lot of people miss is that virtually actually gives you something that many speakers struggle with on a live stage. It's control. In virtual, you are the one controlling the pace. You are controlling the interaction. You are controlling where the conversation and attention goes. In virtual, you architect the experience. And this is where it becomes a business tool, not just a speaking opportunity, right? We all want to deliver value as a speaker. But the best virtual speakers, they build the momentum in the entire time. They have it all planned out, right? Again, referencing and dropping resources, having light CTAs throughout, guiding the next steps before you get to the end. It's not pushy, but you, again, be intentional. What is your outcome? The goal isn't just to be heard, right? It's to be remembered and for people to take action. And so last piece, because we are going to run short on time here. And this is kind of the cheat code. And again, self-serving. Stop trying to run your own tech. The best speakers I work with, they're not touching the waiting room, the chat, the polls, the breakout rooms, the spotlighting, the troubleshooting, all of the things that you have to do in this space. They're present. They're focused. They're performing because they're on stage. A producer runs the virtual room so that you can own it. I'll leave you with this. Everyone here wants to learn how to become a better speaker. Not everyone is going to focus on how to create a better experience for the audience. And that is where the rubber really meets the road. The speaker who wins is the one who can command attention, engineer that engagement, and move people to action. So master that, and virtual becomes your biggest advantage and not your backup plan. Actually, speaking of backup plans, what happens if the world shuts down again? What happens if gas prices quadruple? Oops, that actually happened like yesterday. And all of a sudden it becomes too expensive to travel. Are you prepared to take the virtual stage? Don't Zoom alone.
Dope. Thank you, Bernie. Appreciate you. And I feel like one of the super dope things is like people just think of the main stage, right? Of getting on stage. But there's physical and digital stages. Every time we're in front of people or an audience, that is a stage. So it's not just getting on the big stage like a keynote speaker stage. It's getting on stages, and there's multitudes of ways that you can do that as a speaker. So I just want people to think differently on that. So thank you so much, Bernie. Appreciate you, and you're killing the game on this one too. As far as like he's literally showing you like what he does, which he's killing it. All right. So next up, since we're short on time, we're gonna keep it moving. By the way, everybody, we're like halfway to the giveaway drop. And by the way, we're at like 60 participants and like 10 people left. So you're locked in right now. You're locked in. Your chances have increased. Your chances have increased. Okay. So next up, I want to bring up a great friend of mine, Meredith Grundy. She is a boss. Okay. She's a boss. Her energy is infectious. Every time she's on a call with me, I'm just like, man, you can just keep talking all day. I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. But she's like the improv queen. By the way, everybody here, if you want to be a speaker, you need to take an improv class. Meredith can provide that. You need it. Trust me. You got to do stuff on the fly, stuff that wasn't expected. You need it. It's very, very helpful. Very helpful as a speaker. But she travels all over the place. She speaks for big companies like Amazon, and she's just an incredible human being, public speaking coach, experience creator, just an amazing person. Meredith, take it away.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I want to carry you in my pocket and intro me everywhere I go. I think that would be incredible. I also want to do a shout out because there's the improv king in here today too. That's Jonathan Pitts, who I haven't seen forever. Hello, Jonathan. Incredible improviser and Chicago producer of improv. So excited to have you here. Yeah, I'm gonna dive in and start off by saying that I haven't always been able to get on stages and talk to people. I actually started off when I was a kid, incredibly quiet and shy. I was the one that sat in the very back row of the classroom because I was terrified. I was terrified that the teacher would call upon me. I was terrified that I'd have the wrong answer or that I would sound foolish. And so I hid, and I did that for a really long time. But around that same time, I was also dancing. I loved dance, but I didn't have to speak. I just got to move around on stage and have some fun. And I was in one of those performances that culminated into a final, showcase presentation that you did for your friends and your family. And at that time, I was about 13 years old. And the teacher asked everyone in the class to speak a line of text from the stage. And she asked us, the prompt was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so during the performance, I did a triple turn. I showed off a little bit, and I landed with my fists like this, and I shouted out into the audience as confidently as I possibly could, when I grow up, I want to be just like Wonder Woman. And that was it. And then I got off stage, and this amazing human who was also a choreographer teacher in that dance academy came up to me, and she said, Meredith, you have a really beautiful stage presence and a great stage voice. You should think about taking some acting classes. And so I did. And what I found through acting, through having a script, through having character, was I started to develop my confidence. And through these amazing theater games and also the community that theater brings together, my confidence started to grow. And then it wasn't until after college that I excuse me, I sound like Kathleen Turner if you're old enough to know who that is today. I went off to Chicago to study improv. I followed a friend of mine. We were in a sketch comedy group together in San Francisco. I interned my way through IO, which Jonathan knows about, Improv Olympic. I won't go into it. But what happened was I found another part of me and my voice. And in improv, you've got structure, but like you're doing stuff on the spot. You are collaborating with other people. You are bringing in your point of view. And so that's when my confidence really started to get more nurtured. And I was able then to get on stages and take more risk and have more fun. And one thing led to the next. I then later got to work at the Second City in Chicago, just like Jonathan. And what I discovered, because I got to go into companies now and teach improv, was how important this work was to help other people find their voices, to communicate better, to build trust. And I absolutely love the work that I do now because I get to continue to do that kind of work. And now I do it to hold space for speakers, to help speakers not only find their unique voice and keep developing that muscle, because it is a muscle. You got to show up. You got to do the reps. You just don't take one improv class and say, done, got it. You've got to show up and do the work because you will notice the shifts and the changes over time. And those shifts that you'll notice are the big ones that matter. Like when shit falls apart, right? If you are a speaker, inevitably something has gone wrong at some point. Whether your sound goes out or the slides don't work, it doesn't matter. Or someone tells you, you had 45 minutes, but oh my God, now you've got 20. I actually flew out to Florida last year. I had 1 hour and the event planner came up to me and she said, I'm so sorry to say this to you, but I need you to take your 45 minute and make it 10 minutes. And I'm not kidding you. So I had to make my material 10 minutes and on the fly, I had to figure out what's the most important thing for them to hear. And so that could be you. And if you're not in a place where you can adapt in the moment, that's going to be hard. If you're standing up on stage and apologizing and wasting everybody's time and not just moving forward, that's going to hurt your credibility. And so that's why improv is so, I feel, important. The other piece that I feel is super important about improv is, there are so many golden nuggets that improv will help you with. I can only share so many with you, but it's to build your confidence and to get you thinking outside of the box, to get you thinking more creatively. We saw in that thought bubble that all of you wanted to find whatever that unique thing is that you hold or your differentiator. When you learn the rules of improv, that helps you start to ideate differently. It helps you think creatively. It helps you figure out how to collaborate better with your team. It actually makes you a better parent too, for those parents in the house. So there are so many gorgeous rules or things that will help you when you do study improv. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to do a quick little exercise. Are you ready? So show me that you're ready by putting a little thumbs up. Just go like this. Okay. All right. Awesome. Beautiful. All right. So I want you right now in the chat, first word that pops in your head, go. In the chat, go. First word that popped in your head, go. Penis. Joy, fun, blue, confidence, ladies, love, bridge. Purple, thank you. Energy. Giving. Spaghetti. Okay, amazing. I love it. How many of you, and be honest with me, first of all, let's all take a big deep breath. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to ask 2 questions. How many of you somewhat froze when I asked you to put one word in the chat? Just raise your hand. Okay, cool. And how many of you, when you kind of froze, also held your breath, your body tightened? Yeah. Okay, awesome. How many of you started to overthink the word? Okay, y'all, there were no right or wrong answers. It was just a word. And bonus points for whoever said penis, because I believe you. Like, that was the first word that popped in your head, and that's gorgeous. Thank you very much. So we're going to do it again. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to shake that off. Everyone move your body right now, because we've been sitting for a long time. I want to see you moving. I want to see hands in the screen, and I can see you. So if I don't see hands in the screen, All right. You're busted. All right. Good. Move your body. Right. Okay. That's the other thing that a lot of speakers don't do. Right. I see them just standing backstage. I'm so nervous. 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 I'm like, move your body. Like, do something. Breathe. It's like, you see animals. Like, have you ever seen, like, if you ever watched the Wilderness Channel, where like an animal gets attacked, but they don't die. They survive somehow. And the predator runs away and they're still for a moment. And then they get up. And what's the first thing they do? They shake. They shake. They shake because they're regulating their nervous system. And that's what I'm inviting you to do too. So we all just shook. And now I'm going to ask the question again. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Okay. Get it out of your head. Okay. First word that popped in your head. Go. Put it in the chat. First word. There are no right or wrong answers. Go. Trust. Dragons. Cold. Orange. Fluff. Shake. Candy. Clouds. Phantom. No, I can't pronounce that right now. Show. Work. Vegas. Water. Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. How did that feel? Better? Thumbs up? That feel a little bit better? Okay. Amazing. So you are capable. I always like to say it's a first thought, best thought. It's a William Ginsburg quote, actually. So first thought, best thought. What is your first thought? Go with it. What's your first impulse? Like trusting your intuition, giving yourself permission to trust. If the most honest moments on stage is when someone makes a mistake. So if you are about to make if you make a mistake, you don't need to apologize for it. Why? Because you're a human being. And it's so gorgeous to see people step into their humanness because it's a lived experience. We've all been there. And it makes your audience relax a little bit. So we've heard from every speaker today about you have to drop the need to be perfect and start just taking some risk and getting on stage and trusting. And that's the thing that I see so much is that, first of all, in improv, if you have a really clear structure and you've practiced that structure, a framework over and over and over and over again, then you can start to find the formlessness in that structure. You can start to have fun. You can start to find the play. And so when you trust, and then it's trust at that point, right? So when you trust your content, your expertise, it can be limitless for you. But what I notice often with a lot of speakers is that they stop trusting because they're so worried about the judgment or if they sound credible or not credible or name the things. But the reason why, and this has been spoken already in this space, the reason why we're all here is because we truly do care. We do all have a message that needs to be heard. And so we are all here in service of. And if that's the truth, then now it's just about trust and giving to your audience what they deserve and what they came there to get. So I don't know how long I just spoke for at all, Bernie.
You're right on time to wrap, Meredith. Thank you.
I am on time to wrap. That's awesome. Thank you. So my takeaway for you today is if this resonated with you, if there are, I say, here's my gift to you. This is my call to action to you. Find more play. Find more play. Have more fun and trust. That's it. Thank you all. And yeah, find me on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Yes. Connect with Meredith on LinkedIn. Oh my God. Absolutely incredible. Everybody put some W's in the chat real quick. We're winning right now. We're winning. Free event? Yeah. We're winning. We're winning. Okay. Thank you so much, Meredith. So we're going to go to our next speaker. So Stevie Johns, we're going to bring her up. And the reason why I brought Stevie in is because she kind of looks at it from a different angle because she runs a speaker talent management agency. And she's worked with tons and tons of speakers. And so she's going to give us insights on the business side of pitching, what meeting planners are actually looking for, the rates, the relationships, getting booked. What is she seeing through her time, right, in this space, from getting speakers to kind of that unknown and actually getting some traction? What does she look for in her speaker talent management agency for a speaker to actually get to have that opportunity to be on the roster for gigs and to get out there? Because a lot of times I hear, oh, I just need a speaker agent and I'm gonna blow up. Well, that's hard to get a speaker agent, and also that's also not always the best option, because some speaker agencies are taking crazy numbers, crazy numbers. So Stevie, you have the floor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for that amazing intro, and goodness, like, it's wonderful to be here with all of you today. Yes, plot twist, I am not a speaker. Believe it or not, for me to take the stage is not a good idea. But I love being surrounded and in all of your sphere, because it is tough work. And I like being behind the scenes and working all of the magic. So you just saw a poll pop up on your screen. And what I would love to know is, where do you get stuck most in getting booked? I see some putting pitching, outreach messaging, knowing what organizers actually want, which I know Kristen touched on that earlier. Communicating my expertise clearly. Yes, positioning is huge. Building the right relationships. This business is relational, guys. You have to network, and it's amazing what comes out of just sending, a quick check-in, or I send Starbucks gift cards to people I want to get on the phone with. So building those relationships is huge. Avoiding common mistakes and red flags. Yes. Amazing. Well, like Julie mentioned, authenticity, so huge. It's actually one of Inkwell Management's one of our core values. And Inkwell Management, by the way, I'm getting ahead of myself, is my speaker manager agency. And I had a dream of starting a boutique agency to really work intimately with my speakers on curating unique experiences. So not always is it about selling a speech or selling a product, right? It's really around having the ability to curate a unique experience. Obviously not recreate the wheel every time, but what does that mean for you and your brand and your nimbleness to get on many stages? Currently, I represent 19 speakers. They range every price range you can think of. I have 5K speakers. I have 50K speakers. And they are, across many niches and levels of expertise. So I see it all, hear it all, do it all. And every day is different. But I think, the real reason behind why I love working with speakers like yourself as you're building is because there are 5 major, pillars that I learned when I repped a celebrity speaker for 5 years. And those pillars, I mentioned a few of them, and they were actually identified in the poll. But number one, going into the speaking industry and not having patience is actually doing yourself a disservice. It is a long game, and you have to be patient. You have to be patient with the market. What we're seeing right now from a booking perspective is very different than even 6 months ago. And that's a short amount of time, right, in this industry. We're also, the second thing is being nimble. And that kind of goes with my first aspect, because it is changing so rapidly. We have to be able to shift on a dime. I know Jamar talked earlier, or maybe it was Bernie, around, what if the world shuts down again? What are we going to do? And I happened to be working with a celebrity speaker at that time. And, all of us looked extremely numb in the fact of, oh my goodness, is virtual really a thing? And he had his most successful year that year. That was the start of his most successful year. So nimble, number 2,
making sure that we can, shift. And that also goes a long way with meeting organizers and organizations, because they aren't always going to know what they want. And so being able to agree to things on the front end and be able to shift on the back end, as Meredith was sharing about time, is a really big deal. The third thing, Kristen mentioned this, being super easeful to work with. I feel like because I am a small shop and do have the intimate setting with my speakers and also my the organizations and bureau partners that I work with, I have the ability to have that, unique connection with each of them and be able to pinpoint those pieces that, potentially my speakers won't be able to call out or have never experienced before, etc. I would say from the fourth pillar, let me keep going here. I have so much to share, and I know I only have 4 minutes left. The fourth thing is positioning, which we sort of touched on, but positioning yourself as a jack of all trades. Many of us come into the speaking industry from a corporate life and have 20 plus years in a executive or leadership role. And we're bringing that experience with us. And yes, it's credible. Yes, use it to your benefit. But that doesn't mean that you are immediately going to make a full-time living speaking and not having a niche. So appearing as though you're the jack of all trades, pulling in that credibility from your 20 years, in corporate America, and not really knowing what that unique intention is behind your story personally. And remember, nobody can take your story away from you. So storytelling is huge. I know one of the other speakers touched on that. But literally making sure that you can narrow in on what that actual niche is. Because when you appear as a jack of all trades, you're going to go to the bottom of the list, because most of the time meeting planners don't even know what they want. They want you to be extremely direct and knowing what you're delivering from the stage, what your offerings are, what audiences will adapt, and you're giving them what they need at the end. And then the fifth thing I will say is, I think somebody talked about ego, if I'm recalling correctly, but we all have ego, and ego is good. I will say, when you show up in front of these planners and in front of even a manager or an agent, high level, directors for organizations that are planning, and you're very much, I can do it all. I can talk about anything, going back to the jack of all trades. I can, I have all of these years experience. I am a celebrity and I need VIP service and I need 20 purple M&Ms and 50 travel size toothbrushes. You're creating a space, and the speaking industry is not large. So you're creating a space where you quickly could have one conversation with someone about your needs that are driven from ego, and you're quickly going to not succeed in the industry. And so I would say, definitely from the ego perspective, show up super credible and obviously have energy. Meredith talked about, the trust and using that energy as your muscle. And if you do that, I really do think, just as much as one small comment about 20 purple Skittles could turn negative, one small comment about, yes, I'm here to support you, what can I do to make sure you have an exceptional experience, can make you grow overnight and really succeed. I think that is my time. Jamar, Bernie, do I have a few more minutes, or?
We are almost to the 2:30 mark. So if we're going to stay on time, that's going to be it, Stevie. But thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you all for having me. I connected with most of you online. So
thank you, Stevie. Appreciate you. Everybody, please connect with Stevie. You never know. You might be on her roster one day. You never know. Please connect with her. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we did have something section for me to talk, but whatever, we're gonna jump straight into the giveaway. Straight into the giveaway. So first I'm just gonna say, as just like a giveaway, then quick close is like, yo, put this stuff into action, man. Like, we gotta actually take what we learned and put it into action. So first of all, you made the commitment, you signed up for this, and you showed up, and that's half the battle. That's actually like 90% of the battle. So say I did it in the chat. I did it. I did it because you took a step to learning about how to be a better speaker, how to get more bookings, and how to get your voice and your message and your vision out there, which is absolutely incredible. So that's that. I'm all about action. So please take this. And I know only 10% are actually going to do something, but please put this stuff into action. Take some of these notes. Take a step. Stop being a perfectionist. Take a step. Take a step. Take a step. And you never know where you can end up. Okay. So we're going to go into Lou. If by the way, that's a little scanning thing. You can book a call with me, take a picture, do something. Okay, here we go. Stop the share. All right.
Yay.
Lou, are you here?
I am.
Okay, so my team is going to do this giveaway. You got to be present though. You got to be present. By the way, this is a lot of value, over 10K plus of value that we're giving out to one lucky person here. So if they're not here, we are going to spin the wheel again. We're going to spin it again. So this is going to be crazy. All right. Good luck to everybody. Can we get some drum roll emoji or something in the chat? Can we drum roll it? Here, let me start it real quick because I know we're over. Hold on. Drum roll. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the emoji. There's the emoji. Yo, Lisa
Crockett.
Is Lisa here?
Are you here?
I am here. That is wild.
Here.
Boom!
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
First try.
No way!
Oh, yay me.
Congrats,
Like the
Lisa.
first good thing has happened all week. You guys. Just like made my day.
Congrats, guys. W's in the chat for Lisa, by the way.
Woo!
W's in the chat for Lisa. How do you feel, Lisa?
Oh my God, this is amazing. Literally cracking me up. With all these people in here, I did not think you were going to say my name.
That's the joy of showing up.
It
That's
is the joy. You're seriously.
Congratulations. You're going to get some crazy exposure, and we're going to hone in on your...
I got to get ready for that. Wow.
you got to do it.
Hey, wait, you recorded this so I can listen to your brilliance again now, because now I feel like I'm on the hot seat. Like full time. My palms are actually sweating, dudes. I kid you not.
Oh my God, amazing. Well, congratulations. Thank you all for attending this incredible event. We're probably going to try to plan to do this quarterly. We'll see what happens. You will see some follow-up from all of us, okay? So you're going to see some follow-up of because we want to keep you I see a lot of questions in the chat, so we're going to keep that action, keep the momentum going, right? That's what it's all about, keeping the momentum going. And we did this once again, we did this giveaway because in a world full of taking, we want to give a little bit more. So I appreciate every single one of you for showing up, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you all so much for attending, and I will catch you somewhere in the world.
Enjoy the
Peace
day, guys.
and love, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Woo!
Lisa.
Thanks, everybody.
Dude, talk soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Man, what an event.